Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lethuba ngibonge isupport nothando nesikhombise lona lingaphezulu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisupporte njalo ngokubuka amavideo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla.
9, 10, 11. Let's stop there for now. Tracing your history. So just feel free and take us slow. Tell us about yourself. Not from primary school, at least from matric. Yeah.
Chairperson, I matriculated in Tulare High School in 1981. Tulare High School is in Lebotlwane. Lebotlwane is in the Moretele district of the Northwest Province. And then I continued to study a BProc and an LLB degree at the University of Fort Hare in 1989 and 1991 respectively. I continued to serve articles of clerkship at the firm of attorneys which was doing predominantly criminal work. It's called Boerder Duplessis and Kruger Attorneys, which is still in Johannesburg. I commenced my articles in November 1991. That is immediately after...
Is that the famous BDK attorneys?
The famous BDK, yes.
If I may advocate Ngcukaitobi, I know that most of us are commissioning officers by virtue of the law. But you may consider later, just for completion, so that when the record is sent to the President at the end of this inquiry, he should be having a complete picture. You can have the statement commissioned before a commission of oaths.
Thank you, Madam
Chair. I know that he has now testified that the contents of this are correct, and he aligns himself with everything that is in this statement. But I suggest that you can later then cause the commissioning to be done and then file it of record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we will discuss it with our learned friends if they have an objection to a commissioning after signing, because sometimes these commissioners will insist that the commissioning and the signing happen simultaneously.
Yes. Maybe we should just verify with you, evidence leaders.
No, Madam Chair will not have an objection.
Yes, ordinarily one could even do it right away, but I prefer that it is done by someone else. Later in the day, you can do that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I suppose Advocate Halley, you have no objection? There can't be any objection. Yes, let's do the right thing so that we give the President the record that is fully complete.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are still at paragraph 8, Advocate Mayema, where you say that you did, after your LLB at Fort Hare in 1991, you did articles of clerkship at BDK attorneys.
That is correct, Chairperson.
Yes, carry on.
Then, as I was indicated, BDK is a firm that is being predominant. My apologies. I will leave it on, Chairperson. BDK is a firm of attorneys that does predominantly criminal work. Towards the latter part of my articles, as I was working closely with prosecutors in various courts, I developed an interest to become one. And I applied, and I was appointed a prosecutor. I started in Fort Beaufort in the Eastern Cape. on the 8th of March 1993. Fort Beaufort, Chairperson, is a small town in the Eastern Cape, fairly rural. It's a farming town.
Yes, you don't have to convince me.
Yes.
What do they refer to it as Bofolo?
Beaufort.
Beaufort. Yes.
They call it, they say Emakizeni.
Well, that part, I'm not sure, but the people from Fort Beaufort will be very upset. There's a mental hospital there. That's how it
Yes.
ended up being as a magazine.
Yes. In fact, communities get a service at that hospital, which is very important.
Yes, and then you, from March 1993, you are prosecuting at Fort Beaufort. You then gain experience in Port Elizabeth, Grahamstown, and King Williamstown. Is that correct?
That is correct. What happens in the Eastern Cape is they pick their prosecutors that they identify, and then they expose you to various work in various districts. So I started although being a district court prosecutor when I started in Fort Beaufort, when the regional court would come and sit there, and a prosecutor from Grahamstown would not be available, I would then deal with their regional courts. That's how then it started. That I do the regional court in King Williamstown, in Grahamstown, as well as in Port Elizabeth.
And then at paragraph 9, you then get admitted as an advocate. Can you just explain that? Because you've already been working for 2 years by this stage.
As I was working in Grahamstown, I then received a call from one of the deputies in the Johannesburg office, who saw that I am from Johannesburg, but I'm working in Grahamstown. And then I indicated an interest to come back to Johannesburg. On the 3rd of May, I applied for my admission as an advocate in the High Court. I was then admitted in the then Witwatersrand Local Division, which is now South Gauteng. And then early in May, I think the 5th of May, I joined the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in Johannesburg as a state advocate. I worked as a state advocate, as a senior state advocate, in the DPP office in Johannesburg until the establishment of the National Prosecuting Authority in 1998. When it was established, the first national director, Mr. Bulelani Ngcuka, established what we called the Human Rights Investigative Unit. This unit was intended to look at the cases that came from the TRC. It is the predecessor of what later then came to be called the Priority Crimes Litigation Unit at the NPA head office.
So just before you proceed, I mean, I'm not sure if the statement contains an error or you made an error, because it refers to Grahamstown there as a state advocate, but you are saying you were actually in Johannesburg.
I started as a state advocate in the DPP office in Grahamstown.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with the
There's
statement.
nothing wrong in the
Okay.
in the statement.
Okay.
And that is why I think what happened was a deputy in the DPP Joburg spoke to a deputy in Grahamstown and said, "But this name is known to me."
I see.
And then that's when Kevin Edwell then phoned Les Roberts, the two deputies, and then Kevin then said, "Will you be interested to come to Joburg?" I said, "Of course I will."
Were you in Grahamstown for a short period?
I was in Grahamstown for a very short.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, so that's why, actually, substantively, you worked in Johannesburg. although
Substantively in
you
Johannesburg.
fired through Grahamstown.
Indeed, Chairperson.
No, I understand. Okay. And then you did work at the PCLU, which is the TRC Cases Unit.
Yes.
Okay. And how long was that?
It was for about less than a year. When you see, with the introduction of the NPA Act in 1998, the NPA, in terms of the Constitution, became a single prosecuting authority, and posts were then advertised for deputies. I applied, and I was appointed a deputy director of prosecutions in the Northwest. And then on the 1st of May 1999, I assumed my responsibility as a deputy director of prosecutions in the Northwest.
So you are at the national office for 1995 to 1998. No, sorry. You are at the DPP's office in Johannesburg up until 1998.
Yes.
But then you are only at the national office between November 1998 and May 1999.
Indeed.
Okay, I understand. And then in May 1999, you then go to Mabato.
Indeed, Council.
Okay. And when you were in Mabato, you were working as the deputy director.
Yes, I was working as a deputy director of public prosecutions.
Yes. All right. And then you were there until you went on retirement recently on the 4th of December 2024.
Yes, on the 4th of December, things took a turn, yes, and I decided, I penned a letter informing the NPA that I had now reached the age of 660. I intend going on retirement.
Now, I think you should explain those circumstances to the panel. I think they want to know.
Yes.
What are the circumstances you say took a turn?
Chairperson, in February 2019, Advocate Shamila Batohi was appointed as the National Director of Public Prosecutions. On a day, on a Friday, I was part to the office of the National Director of Public Prosecutions. PCLU is based in the National Director of Prosecutions office. And our office was on the same floor with that of the National Director. So as I walked to the photocopy, I would from time to time bump into the National Director. As I did on the day, in front of the lift, and Advocate Batohi then asked me, "You are appointed for the Northwest. What are you doing here?" And then I then informed her that I am busy with work that was allocated to me by your predecessor. Her predecessor would have been Advocate Sean Abrahams, that I was specifically referring to. And then she thereupon said to me, "No, you must go back to the Northwest." I was a bit taken aback by that stance. I indicated to Advocate Batohi that I came to head office, to the office of the PCLU, as a result of having been requested to do so in writing. So I said, "Well, I have no problem with it, but may you please put it in writing." And then she said to me, "Now you can go to the Northwest." I will tell Johan. Johan then would be the Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Johan Smith, SC. This discussion, Chairperson, happens in the passage. And I would have expected a conversation that affects my work to have happened in a better, decent manner. I would have expected the National Director to call me to her office and to say why, in her view, I should go back to the Northwest. It did not happen. And then I went to my office, which is a few steps away from the foyer where we met. Chairperson, I barely sat down. It means I was just about to sit down when Danny Smith, the office manager in the office of the National Director, walked in. And when he walks in, he says to me, you know, he was rubbing his hands.
I beg your pardon, is that Advocate Smith?
No. Danny Smith is a corporate manager in the office of the National Director. He says, Advocate Mahema, please don't shoot the messenger. But you must vacate the office. And I say, vacate the office? Well, the direction from the National Director, Advocate Batohi, is that you must go back to the Northwest. I said, but I just indicated to her I needed it in writing. And he continued rubbing his hands and said, don't shoot the messenger, but you must vacate the office. I need to use it on Monday or the ensuing week. And I said, but Danny, I have files that I'm working on. And then Danny then said to me, well, those files can be put in the safe. So what they did was Danny Smith approved that some of the files that could fit into the safe could go into the safe, and those that can't fit in the safe, they gave me a bakkie, a van, that I loaded into the bakkie, and I drove home on that Friday in Joburg. And on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, I was in Advocate Johan Smith's office, to his surprise. And Advocate Johan Smith said,
Who is Advocate Johan Smith now?
Is a DPP in the Northwest.
So you were back in Mabato on
I'm
Monday?
back in Mabato now. And he was surprised. He was equally surprised. I said, well, I related the story to him. He said, no, you're most welcome here. We need additional hands. Your experience, no. Perfect. So that's how then I went back to the Northwest.
Yes. Now, at the time that you were essentially hounded out of the office, the disciplinary steps you are talking about in paragraph 10, had they been commenced, started?
They had not commenced yet.
Okay. Were you aware of any impending disciplinary steps?
I was completely unaware of any impending.
Yes. All right. And then take us through then to how, we now know how you were pushed out of the office by Advocate Batohi, according to you.
Yes.
Without warning, without notice.
Yes.
What we are still not aware of is what process led to the DC and what was the DC about?
Chairperson, what happened then was I went back to the Northwest and worked as a prosecutor normally. That means checking work of senior state advocates, checking work of advocates, and doing the work myself. Chairperson would remember that I'm one of the deputies who, unlike other deputies in other offices, don't sit in the office. I will do chamber work, but I will bring my own bit of doing court work self. So yes, I was doing the work of a deputy director of prosecutions and work of advocates in the DPP office, which included decision dockets, appeals, and doing circuit courts. Yes. Now, I think it was in May 2019, I got a call from the director of prosecutions then, Advocate Makari, who then said to me, well, you will have to return the criminal cases that you're busy with. She wanted an audit of all the cases that I was doing, and she informs me that her instruction is that I should not do any court work anymore. And then...
When was this, the date you gave us?
It was in May 2019. This happened a day after I received a letter from Human Resources that was informing me of the commencement of a disciplinary hearing in 2019. But what surprised me was the angle that it took. I had part heads in the High Court, in the regional court, and I was simply told, you must make an audit of the cases, all the cases that you have, and then return them to the Director of Prosecutions, to Advocate Makari.
Advocate who?
Makari, Rachel Makari.
Oh, okay.
She was at the time the DPP.
She was at the time the DPP. Chairperson, she is in the province called Rachel Nengovela. Yes. So, and then I returned all the files. I remember specifically that the next week I had made arrangements to go on circuit court. I was on circuit court with the Deputy Judge President. Judge Jaje, and at Mukhwase. That week, when I was on circuit court, Chairperson,
That Madam Justice.
Madam Justice Jaje,
Yes, thank you.
I was then informed that I'm going to be served formally with papers commencing the disciplinary hearing.
So to just clarify something, because there might be unintentional confusion.
Yes.
In 2019, the DPP of Northwest was Mr. Smith, SC.
At the time of this incident happening,
Yes.
he had just left.
No, I understand that, but I just want the dates to be correct. In 2019, the DPP of Northwest was Mr. Johan Smith,
yes.
SC, correct?
Yes.
And when did he leave?
I do not have a specific date when.
Yes, but
when
your
he
DC was not in 2019; it was in 2024.
Oh yes. No. What happened was it was commenced in 2019.
Yes.
The papers were served in 2019,
Yes, correct.
and I was then asked to do these things, but the files and everything was returned at the time that Advocate Makari was the DPP.
Yes, all right.
Yes. And then what happened then was the result of this, Chairperson, led to to a prohibition to continue the court work that I was doing, and to continue doing any checking work. So what would happen is that I would literally walk into the office at 8 o'clock in the morning. I will sit in the office and read emails and read the newspaper. Because I was prevented from doing any checking work, I was prevented from doing any work with a big salary that I was earning in the NPA.
Yes, but you mentioned that Advocate Rachel Nengobel told you that her instructions were that you should stop doing criminal work.
Indeed, Kansa.
What does that mean, her instructions? Who is instructing her?
The instruction came from the national director that I should not get involved in any. My continued involvement, the letter that I received, my continued involvement in criminal cases places the name of the NPA in disrepute.
Yes. But that's
Chairperson, this is an institution that I worked tirelessly for 31 years. Now, all of a sudden, because of a decision that has been taken in the line and scope of my work, I am now in a position where my continued work will place the NPA's name in disrepute.
Yes. When you say the national director, let's call her by name.
Advocate Shamila Batohi is the one who instructed Advocate Makari to remove me from any active work within the NPA. The result, Chairperson, was that...
Did you say that this message was conveyed to you whilst you were at the circuit court?
The reason why I mentioned that week of the circuit court, when I was told that head office wants to find out where I was so that they can come and serve me with the documents. I was at circuit court in Mkhwasi. And then this fear was there that, what would then happen with the apartheid that I'm doing? And then during that week, in the morning in chambers, I indicated to Madam Justice Judge that there is this pending thing that might happen. And if it happens, I don't know whether it will affect my ability to continue prosecution in the matter that I was busy with. But then what happened was we did the circuit court until the Friday. And the letter of suspension did not arrive. So it arrived later. So the result was that in 2019, after I was told, you're not getting involved in any work, I then became redundant. Coming to the office, reading the newspaper, and doing absolutely nothing. This is a man who is used to running around, reading dockets, working under pressure, and all of a sudden, it's a complete dry land. I have nothing that I'm doing in my office. Chairperson, it went to an extent where I would, junior staff in the office would not know what is happening. So they would come to me and say, Advocate Maima, I have a challenge with this. And I would give them advice as to how to deal with it and say, go to the library, look at this and this. And at some instances when I have challenge, because pressure in the DPP office is enormous. So I said, no, bring it, I will do it. So I would do work and not be able to sign that I have done that work and give it to that junior advocate or that senior advocate to present it as his own. I would not be able to sign indictments. You know what happens in the DPP office? A file comes to you, you issue queries on the matter docket. When it comes back, the admin section will bring it to you. Then they would bring it to me, not knowing that I am not in a position to decide that docket. And then when they bring it to me, then I will take it back and say, I'm not in a position to handle it. So this redundancy happened from 2019. The disciplinary hearing was pending. It wasn't commencing. I Ultimately, when I received the papers, Chairperson, I discovered that it is the decision that I took in the Johan Boysen matter that led to all of this that was happening.
Just tell me, on the point of the DC not commencing, I mean, most of us have done labor law before.
Yes.
When there is a DC, a prosecutor is appointed, a pro forma prosecutor is appointed,
Indeed, Chairperson.
who must sign the charges
Yes.
and then bring witnesses and prosecute.
Yes.
Was a prosecutor appointed in your case? Or an initiator? Yes, I'm corrected.
Yes, an initiator was appointed.
Who was the initiator?
He is sitting here. It's Advocate Hali, I see.
I see. Was a chairperson appointed?
A chairperson wasn't appointed yet. The charges remain pending, and we complained. We took the NPA to the CCMA, and there was the postponement. There was a judgment ultimately, but the effect thereof was that I remained redundant in the office, doing nothing.
So an initiator is appointed, but no chairperson.
Yes.
All right.
And then on the 4th of December 2024, I decided, no, I cannot be treated in this manner by an institution that I've given my entire life, 31 years of my life. On the 4th of December, I then penned my letter informing the employer that I'm intending taking retirement as I've reached the age of 60. I was not the only one. Advocate Musing, who was also in the same position, did the same thing. In fact, he did it a bit earlier than me.
Yes, well, we will see Advocate Masing's name does feature.
Yes.
But maybe to complete that part, now that you've introduced him, when you say he was in the same position, what do you mean?
Counsel, if I may interpose, and I apologize. You said after you went to circuit court, the letter of suspension was served on you a week later.
Yes.
What did the suspension entail? Were you supposed to sit at home, or were you supposed to come, report at work and do nothing? Maybe clarify us on that.
The latter, Chairperson. Come to the office, sit in the office and do absolutely nothing.
Let me understand. You are suspended,
Yes.
but you
With
come to the office and do nothing.
I'm sorry, Chairperson, suspended with full pay.
Yes.
You come to the office, and there's a concerted effort to ensure that I arrive on time. Arrive at 8 o'clock, because when I arrive, the securities will say, Mr. Maima, please, because sometimes you walk in and you're rushing, you don't sign the register. Say, no, please, you must sign. I say, what do you mean I must sign? I have something that I'm rushing for. No, please, it's important, you must sign. We have been asked to direct you to sign. Then I would sign the register relating to the time at which you come to the office.
Thank you.
But then do absolutely nothing. Chairperson, there is nothing that frustrated me during that time, like coming to the office and wanting to do work and not being able to do work. The work that I've done for that period of years was very frustrating to me. But I couldn't do anything about it.
Mr. Maima, what might
Through
help?
you, Chair.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Advocate Maema, you say you were suspended, but expected to report at work at normal working hours.
Yes, Chairperson.
And is that spelled out in your notice of suspension?
It was not in so many words. but I was told I'm suspended with full pay. What was communicated to me by Advocate Makari at the time was, you are not allowed to touch any work in the office. So it wasn't specifically mentioned in the letter of suspension. The letter of suspension indicated that here are the charges that you're going to be facing, and you are suspended with full pay. A disciplinary hearing will commence. These are the charges.
And you have that letter of suspension?
Yes, I do.
Right, thank you.
Yes, Madam Ramachakha is on this point, because I was going to say what might be helpful is for you to bring us that letter at some point, and we'll share it with the panel.
Indeed.
And the instruction for you to come to the office on time was conveyed verbally. Is that your evidence?
My evidence is that the securities in the office indicated that I am compelled to indicate the time of arrival and to indicate the time of leaving the office.
Yes.
But when I had when I was told by Advocate Makari about the suspension, she did not in any way mention signing the register, attendance register, and yes.
All right. You mentioned also that the initiator was Advocate Hali SC. How did you know that?
We had various meetings with Advocate Hali.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Meetings to do what?
We were told to appear on a specific date, and we came to the CCMA office in Sandton here, and Advocate Hali then had a meeting with the council who was representing us, Advocate Matibedi, SC. Yes, and there were some discussions, and I think there was a chairperson appointed, because then the hearing was postponed to a further date. Advocate Hali would remember. Those are the sad parts that I don't really want. My brain does not have capacity to keep that negativity. You think about it and you push it away because you don't want it to drag you down.
Yes, all right. So you think your memory could be failing you that the chairperson could have been appointed or was definitely appointed?
I think the chairperson was appointed because we went to the date, we went to the hearing, all of us, Advocate Musing, Advocate Matenjwa, Advocate Marshal Mokhatla. Yeah. And the matter was postponed to a further date. This matter was postponed and postponed and postponed. That's why I said because of the frustration, we then went to the CCMA. We didn't get a favorable judgment, but the effect thereof was wearing you down. I decided on the 4th of December, I have had enough. So I said, no, I am going on retirement.
You said you discovered at a certain stage that all of this was caused by the role you played in the prosecution of the Nkcukaitobi accused.
The charges were spelling it out clearly that it is because of the charges in the Nkcukaitobi
Yes.
that I was that I suffered the fate that I was facing. When I look at the terms of reference, the terms of reference are almost the same as what I faced.
Which terms of reference now?
The terms of reference of this commission.
Of Advocate Chauke.
Advocate Chauke's terms of reference. It refers to paragraph 3.1.1. 3.1.1 talks about the institution of the racketeering charges against Major General Boysen. But 3.1.1 says Advocate Chauke supported a decision to prosecute the accused, notwithstanding that there was no evidence justifying the decision. 3.1.2, Advocate Chauke recommended to Advocate Jiba, the acting NDPP, the application for issuing racketeering authorization, whereas there was no evidence justifying the institution of prosecution. So it is a pattern of just accusing us of instituting prosecutions where there is no evidence. It's the same pattern of what happened to me is same as what is contained in the terms of reference relating to Advocate Chauke.
Yes, all right.
Madam Chair,
we will come to.
Sorry to interject. May I ask, Madam Chair, it's hot that we take off our jackets. It is raining and on our backs. We are
Well,
sweating.
the air conditioner was switched on and then it seems to have been switched off. I apologize. I know you asked me to make the request. I totally forgot.
Yes, Advocate Maema, we are all battling with the heat and the coldness. You'd understand why some of us are in this state. Are you feeling cold where you are? If you were to switch on the aircon,
It would not affect me at all. I will welcome it, Chairperson. The seat is fairly hot.
yes, I will request our assistants to help us. The lady Colin, if you can assist with the remote and make sure that air conditioning is well functioning over there.
Unfortunately,
But
Madam
that does
Chair,
not detract from the fact that I'm talking to you now.
apologies.
That does not detract from the fact that you can take off your jacket if you wish.
The reason I was saying is because that one only assisted Chauke team.
You can take off your jacket.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I'm in your hands when I should proceed.
Advocate Maema, when you feel cold, you can just regulate the air conditioning with that gadget.
Thank
Or
you,
you can
Chair.
even take off your jacket if you are inclined to do so. I know you're smiling. I know you will not do it.
I will not.
Knowing you from past experience, I know you won't take off your jacket.
Our court etiquette has taught me to do things in a particular way. That's why I am not
I
comfortable
know you, Mr. Maema.
to take oath sitting down, really.
Thank you. You may proceed, Advocate Ngcukaitobi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, so we are now at the point where you've, according to you, have had enough of the unending disciplinary inquiry, and you also know the substance of it is that you are being charged because of your role in the racketeering and the predicate charges on Cato Melo. But you've had enough, you want to go. And you wrote a letter which is called the Termination of Service Letter dated 4 December 2024. We also don't have that copy. Perhaps when you bring the suspension letter, you can also bring that one.
Termination of service letter.
Yes.
Because what happens, Chairperson, is you type it on your own computer, and then you print it, you sign, you give it to HR. But I should have the version on my laptop.
Now, was there a separate charge sheet which explained what the allegations were?
Yes, there was.
All right, so perhaps if you could also provide us with that one. So far, just out of paragraph 10 alone, we have 3 documents we've asked you for. It's your suspension letter and your notice of disciplinary charges and your resignation letter. Okay. And you say that your last date of employment was 31 January 2025.
Indeed, Chairperson.
Yes. Now, what are you doing right now? Well, you've had a year and a month since you left.
Yeah, what happened then is I then applied to do pupillage. I I was admitted to do pupillage in Polokwane, at the Limpopo Society of State Advocates. That is where I met Advocate Mutlamunyani, who was then offering me legal writing. Yes, so I started there on the 1st of Feb until the end of August when you wrote exams. And I think the results came in August, September. I think the beginning of October the results came. But it was a long wait.
Yes.
You know, waiting for the results of that exam is also not a nice thing.
Yes. And are you practicing now as an advocate?
Chairperson, I am commencing to open my office as an advocate. At the moment, seeking chambers from which to practice, but the sweet and short answer is yes, I am practicing as a.
Where
as an
in
advocate.
Limpopo or in the northwest?
Chairperson, because my house is in Gauteng, I'm looking for chambers in Gauteng.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now, okay, we've covered now paragraph 10 because it's quite a lot of information that's condensed in one paragraph.
Yes.
And then when we look at paragraph 11, we also cover your experience that you've had as the DPP on an acting basis. Can you just take us through that?
Indeed, Chairperson, I acted as a Director of Prosecutions on several occasions. This includes the times when Advocate Smith, SC, was sick. Advocate Smith is elderly. He's been very sickly since 2000. In fact, the saying I acted for 7 months is an understatement. I think 7 months was a continuous period when he was admitted in hospital. But because of his age and because of his frailty, I was acting in his states, fairly regular. And then in 2010.
Before that, after completing your pupillage, did you sign the Red Book at the Limpopo Bar or any other bar?
I signed at the Limpopo Bar.
So you're currently the Limpopo Bar member?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I also informed them, as practice requires, that I will be testifying as a witness. I do from time to time when I'm called by the DPP office to testify in respect of cases that I do in organized crime. So when I was asked to consider coming here, I did inform them.
Yes, thank you. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, so we were still covering paragraph 11, which is really your experience as DPP, although your substantive post was deputy.
Yes.
But you also had experience as DPP.
Yes, I acted when my own DPP, Johan Smith, was not well. And when the then DPP of South Gauteng was Advocate Karen de Beer SC, she is mentioned in paragraph, the end of paragraph 11.
Yes.
She was also sick towards the end of her career. And Advocate Mche, who was then the acting NDPP, asked me to go and act in Joburg, which acting period was 1 December 2009 to 31 May 2010.
Yes. You also had experience as the acting head of the PCLU, that's the TRC cases unit.
Yes. I would do that when Advocate Pretorius was out of the country, or when he was ill, or when he was unavailable for any other reason. Then I would be given an acting appointment.
Yes. So, I mean, it does appear that you have significant experience at high level inside the NPA. it's not just the time, but it's also the type of experience you've gained.
And the kind of responsibility that the NPA is prepared to bestow upon you. It went to an extent where I said, no, I will not accept any other acting appointment. You appointed me as a deputy, I'm fine as a deputy. I will execute my duties and responsibility as a deputy.
Yes. All right. Now, your functions as the deputy director are set out at paragraph 13. Can you briefly deal with those?
Chairperson, as Deputy Director of Prosecutions in the office, I was entrusted with special prosecutions, I was entrusted with governance, and I was entrusted with the organized crime. But predominantly my portfolio was organized crime. And organized crime then leads you to dealing with racketeering cases, serious violent cases. Yes.
Well, I mean, South Africa's primary legislation on organized crime is the Prevention of Organized Crime Act, and racketeering is a feature of that act. So
Indeed,
if you are a
Chairperson.
specialist in organized crime, that would be your area of specialization.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes. But also, not only were you in charge of organized crime, I mean, you had specific knowledge and expertise in racketeering.
Chairperson, I did. I have dealt with a number of cases,
Yes.
both as a prosecutor in court and as well as the cases that I would push through or prepare and send to the National Director for racketeering authorizations to be issued.
Yes. And that is what is in the last sentence of paragraph 13, is your experience specifically in racketeering.
Indeed, Councillor, I indicate that I've prosecuted 5 racketeering prosecutions in person,
Yes.
whilst I was in charge of about 7 racketeering prosecutions, where I would then supervise and guide and take the process through to the issuing of racketeering authorizations. The process of issuing of racketeering authorizations is the prosecutor must then prepare a prosecution memo where you summarize the case, where you summarize what is involved in the matter, where you pinpoint the enterprise, the pattern of racketeering authority, pattern of racketeering activity, and then in a memo, depending on whether you do the prosecution in the regional court, in which case then you prepare a charge sheet. If it's in the high court, then you'll prepare an indictment together with the requisite racketeering authorizations for consideration by the Office of the National Director.
Yes. No, I understand.
Let me just verify something you said earlier with regard to the disciplinary hearing. And when you appeared before the CCMA, you mentioned the names of Advocate Musing, Mokhatla, and Matenjo. Were they also subjected to disciplinary proceedings and charged?
Yes, Chairperson, we were charged in the same matter. In fact, what happened, disciplinary hearing in terms of the labor legislation, for some of us who've read labor law, is supposed to happen in the office where you're working. But the NPA was then, despite my being based in the Northwest, they said, well, because it is involving Advocate Musing, who is based in the DPP Pretoria, Advocate Mokhatla, who is based in the DPP Pretoria, but head of a serious office of the OCO, what is it? Serious economic cases. Advocate Matenjo.
We can refer to it as OSEO. I
Yes.
think we know. all of
OSEO,
us.
yes. And Advocate Matenjo, who's a deputy in the office of the DPP in South Gauteng. So, well, including myself, we were all officials of the NPA who were pursued disciplinary by Advocate Hali SC.
No, Advocate Hali was just an initiator. You were being pursued, if by any person, by Advocate Batohi.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes. Okay. I think the point I was trying to get to in paragraph 13 is to expatiate your knowledge and expertise in racketeering, which we've dealt with now, I think, unless you want to add anything on your experience and knowledge of racketeering.
Now I have, except to say, Chairperson, when because of my experience in racketeering cases, and because of having dealt with the cases myself, this now leads me to paragraph 15, where I say, I think in my view.
No, let's start with 14.
Should
There
we
is a
start with
case
14? In section 2 of poker, or in the definition section of poker, and an individual can be an enterprise. A group of individuals associated, in fact, can be an enterprise. Even a formal structure with hierarchy can be an enterprise. So all you do is look at the legislation, look at the facts that you have. Do they accord with the definition of an enterprise? And do you have sufficient evidence to prove an enterprise and all the elements, pattern of racketeering activity, there being more than one offense listed in Schedule 1? If all the requirements outlined in the legislations are there, then, you commence a racketeering prosecution.
Yes. Thank you. And then in paragraph 15, that's where you wanted to go to, that you think the reason you were recommended to be involved as a leader of the prosecution team on Nkcukaitobi was because of your experience in racketeering.
At the time, yes. At the time when it happened, I thought, oh, well, it could be because of this. Because every time when you go to a conference, they'll say, Mahema got this conviction of an individual as an enterprise. Yes. So I thought it is because of that involvement in the Ngongoma Ndleleni matter that the acting NDPP Advocate Jiba, when it was brought to her attention that there is something in KZN that might mirror what is in racketeering offenses, then she thought of Mahema, who has done racketeering cases, and also thought about Matenjwa. At the time, in 2010, Advocate Matenjwa had dealt with the Jub matter. It wasn't a racketeering matter per se, but it was a matter that caused a lot of, what do you call it? A lot of unhappiness in Soweto. It happened at the time when I was acting in Johannesburg. So I actually allocated the Jub matter to Advocate Matenjwa and Advocate Kanyile, but Advocate Matenjwa dealt with that prosecution and dealt with it successfully. So when incidents in KZN were happening, which would mirror something that may be in that line, I thought that was the reason for the recommendation that I be part of the team. But then, having spoken to General Mabula, who was the lead investigator of the DPCI, the Director of Priority Crimes Litigation Unit, then I gathered that when he approached Advocate Jiba for a prosecutor-guided investigation in respect of this incident, Advocate Jiba asked him, is there a prosecutor that you know that would recommend? General Mabula is in the Northwest, I'm in the Northwest. I was his obvious choice. He said, I work with Mahema in organized crime. Yes. And because of Advocate Matenjo's involvement in Jub Jub, in my view, then we were the two that were designated to assist the DPCI team as well as the IPAD team in KZN with what appeared to be offenses in KZN.
Yes, thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, was the further reason also not the fact that there had also been a case involving someone in Rustenburg who then had to be prosecuted in KZN with all others? The Rustenburg case.
Now, the Rustenburg case was in my view, not a consideration. I thought it was my experience in racketeering matters. And Chairperson, there was a prosecution that I dealt with at the so-called Skirlek prosecution. The Skirlek prosecution was a racist attack in Swartregens. So it was one of the prosecutions that was in the media a lot. So I dealt with that matter. And,
you're not going to my turf.
Oh, yes. I've missed the question. My apologies.
No, the Skirlek matter is in my turf.
Oh, yes.
Yes, but I do understand those reasons why you were then recommended to go to KZN and lead the team. I thought that perhaps the Rustenburg matter was also a consideration. I do understand your answer.
Yes.
Looking for the actual case. Yes, I was just checking, Madam Chair, that centralization case. I'm just looking at my notes now. But I suppose that came after you were approached. That's your point.
Remember the...
Yes, I think it will come later.
We will deal with it,
we
yes.
should not divert at this stage.
Thank
Advocate
you
Mayema,
much.
I think just to save time, let Council take you there at a later stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. So, paragraph 16, you already showed us your familiarity with the terms of reference, so I won't get into that because you mentioned that voluntarily when I was asking you about something else.
Oh, yes, about the...
I was asking you about your own DC, and then you said it's actually mirrored in this DC, and then you read out the terms of reference.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
So we can skip paragraph 16 there. And then in paragraph...
Is it, I'm now reminded of the tea time.
Yes. Yes.
We have gone past the tea time. I'm reminded it is now tea break time, so Advocate Ngcukaitobi, do you want to pause now or do you want to pursue with that question?
No, Madam
Or
Chair.
you'll park it here until we reconvene?
Yes, I'd rather park it here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Advocate Mayema, we've agreed with Council that we'll take our lunch, beg your pardon, the tea time at 15:15, and then we will adjourn for 30 minutes. We will reconvene at 10:02.
10 to 12.
10 to, yes, at 10 to 12 for you to proceed. Remember, you are still under oath as we adjourn. Thank you, Council. We'll adjourn for tea for 30 minutes.